Now the get temporary path function existed in FileMaker 9. It's been enhanced. Essentially what it does is it returns a folder one level lower than in FileMaker 9. So again, if you're not familiar with get temporary path, it simply gives you a path that you can use with, let's say, a script that would save a PDF document. For instance, there is a get desktop path. You might want to put your PDF document right on the desktop. Well, get temporary path is this place where a hidden folder where nobody can see it. Sometimes you don't want to mess up the desktop of somebody. Sometimes you don't even want them to see the file. You just want to attach it to an email. So that's the idea here. You can say get that temporary path and put a file there if you know how to use variables and other features. Now, it's one level lower. Why did they do that? Well, if they use the same temporary folder was in FileMaker 9, it was up to the discretion of the operating system to delete those files. So they would stay there for a long time sometimes. Now, since it's one path lower, FileMaker can control that, and whenever you exit or quit FileMaker, it'll automatically delete those files, so it doesn't take up a lot of space on the hard drive. So you will see examples of saving a PDF document for an attachment to an email, or opening a document stored in a container feed. All these things will require you to control paths on your system software will be shown in this tutorial, but not right now. Now, one thing that's really great is for advanced developers, the improvements to the file recovery. So let's go ahead and show it because that's really the best way to do it. If you've got a corrupt or damaged file, what you need to do, and I've never had one by the way, so I wouldn't worry too much about it, but if you have to recover a file, you just come here, recover, and we're going to choose that address book we made from the bento source, even though it's not corrupted, and we'll hit select, and you'll see that we now have advanced options. We could just hit save and it would do the recovery the normal way that you're used to and just automatically do everything. But if we use advanced options, you'll see that we have control over what gets done on recover. Now the settings right now are the default that would normally get done if you didn't choose advanced options. But what you can do is you can say, oh well, I don't want it to try to fix or rebuild any of the blocks. I just want it to copy them as is because maybe I don't think that's where the problem is. Or I could say compact it. In other words, it copies the blocks but it removes any empty blocks, so it makes it smaller usually. It doesn't really compress it, it just compacts it. So it's the same file, more efficient. And then you have control over whether you want to fix the data and rebuild the fields and tables, or the script's layouts and other structure, or the field indexes, or the cache settings, or you can even bypass the startup script. You have complete control over what it does. Now we're just going to do a normal recover here. Hit save. And we can actually open the log file if we want. And you can see everything that's gone on. This is completely new for FileMaker 10, seeing what was in the recover log. So this is really great. You can examine exactly what it did to your file. We'll click OK here. It does give you a summary here. And you can see there's your recover log right there, and there's the recovered file. So if you ever need recover, it is now much more complete, much more user-defined, if that's the best way to say it. Now what you also have is the ability to import Microsoft Excel 2007, 2008. Now in the interface you're going to see .xslx, not 2007, 2008. And you'll see that in the Open dialog, Save Records as Excel, Import Records. Any dialog that allows you to specify a file type, you're going to see this new file type. We'll just show it to you in the Open dialog. Simply come over here and you'll see it right there. And now we have IPv6 support. Now many of you won't even know about this, but you're familiar with IPv4, which is your standard IP addresses, which most people have out there. In the future, IPv4 addresses, because they're short and not very long, are going to run out. So what is happening is the new IPv6 format is going to be coming out. The primary change, as I said, is the length of the address. You'll see this in the Open Remote dialog and the Open URL script step. Here's an example of what the IPv6 address will look like. It's quite a bit longer, much longer than what you're used to on the IPv4. So you may not need it now, but FileMaker wants to get it supported as soon as possible because the standard's out there.